The ASICS Gel Kayano 33 and the Nimbus 28 are two of the most popular models within the ASICS range, but they're designed for completely different things. I'm going to break down 5 key differences between them in this video, whether you want to use them for walking, running, or you're interested on how they influence different foot types. So first of all, let's look at the Gel Kayano, where you've got 39mm of cushioning in the rear foot, 31 in the forefoot, giving you an 8mm difference in height from the back to the front of the shoe. In contrast to that, in the Nimbus, you've got a lot more cushioning. So we've got 43.5mm in the rear foot, 35.5mm in the forefoot. So it also has an 8mm drop. But even though it has more cushioning, it's actually a lighter shoe, coming in at 272 grams versus 298 grams in a size 9 men's US in the Kayano. And that's not where the differences stop, because they also have different types of cushioning within them. Now the Kayano 33 saw a massive update compared to models 31 and 32, as it now has 2 different types of cushioning. It has the FF Blast Max cushioning, which is a top layer, and if you're familiar with the ASICS range, we also see that in the Nova Blast series, so that's typically a faster, snappier, more energetic foam. And then underneath we have FF Blast Plus cushioning, which is a softer, more balanced cushioning overall, which is more designed around comfort. So in the Gel Nimbus 28, we have one cushioning, and that's the FF Blast Eco. Now, it's the same design as what we saw in the Nimbus 27, but it feels completely different underfoot, and I'll explain why that is. But first of all, I want to touch on the geometry of the shoe without getting too nerdy about it, but it is really important. As you can see, the curve at the front of the shoe is what we call a forefoot rocker. Now that influences the push-off phase of the gait cycle, so the more aggressive it is, it reduces the amount that your calf and your Achilles have to do. So you can see in the Nimbus 28, it's very aggressive towards the front, and it also has a bit more of a curve at the back of the shoe. And that means that when you hit the ground on your heel, it moves quickly from the back to the front of the shoe, making it more efficient overall. Whereas the Kayano is a little bit flatter, doesn't have as an aggressive of curves, but that therefore makes it more stable because it has more contact points with the ground. Now when it comes to stability, they're completely different shoes. Historically, the Gel Kayano was a very stable shoe, but they've changed that in the most recent model, and they've added a new FluidSupport system. And that's a system designed around trying to provide stability depending on how your foot moves within the shoe. So it tries to provide stability on the inside and the outside of the shoe, rather than historically had an arch support built into it and huge sidewalls. Now we have some sidewalls on the inside and outside, but not much bigger than what we see in the Nimbus 28. So sidewalls are where the midsole comes up, wraps around your foot, and tries to add stability to the shoe. Now they both have a rigid heel counter, which wraps around your ankle and tries to control those pronation moments when you hit the ground. And I'll touch on how they influence flat feet and those that need extra support later on. Both of them have a very broad base underneath the shoe, increasing the contact with the ground. And then on top of the shoe, we have slightly more spacious toe box in the Kayano 33 than we have in the Nimbus 28, but regardless, both of them come in a wide and an extra wide for those of you who need that extra space. Now we do have thin tongues that are gusseted on both shoes, and we've got lots of padding around the heel counter. So those of you who need extra protection around there, you'll enjoy it in either shoe. So then, how do you use these shoes when it comes to walking and running? Well, first of all, the Nimbus 28, it can be used as an everyday walking shoe, but it is a little bit stiffer than what we saw in the previous versions. So you can see the forefoot, I can barely move it at all, and that means that it's really protective in the ball of the foot, whether you're standing for long periods of time or whether you're walking. Now the cushion is a little bit firmer underfoot, so you're not getting that kind of marshmallow feel, but you're getting a very stable feel underfoot, and you will feel comfort in this shoe from the moment that you step into it right until the end of the day. It won't bottom out, and it's an extremely durable shoe, so a great option for walking and standing. The Kayano 33 doesn't provide as much support as what we saw in the previous models, but those of you who don't like intrusive arch support and like to use it as a walking and standing shoe, this is going to be perfect. When it comes to running, they're just so far apart. So for the Nimbus 28, because it's much lighter than what we saw in the Nimbus 27, it's got a firmer, snappier midsole and a more aggressive rocker. It means that not only can you use it for your steady runs, easy runs up to marathon pace, but you can actually also use this now for some up-tempo workouts. So it's become a much more versatile option. Whereas the Kayano is a little bit flatter, less aggressive. The mixture of cushioning means that it's a little bit softer underfoot, not as aggressive, and therefore it's a stability shoe that can be used for easy runs, recovery runs, or someone who just wants to build up the mileage a little bit but isn't too worried about the speed or the weight of a shoe. Then when it comes to medical conditions, well, if you're looking for lots of protection in the ball of the foot, big toe joint, you can't go too far wrong with the Nimbus 28. You're also getting plenty of space in there, but not as stiff or as aggressive in the forefoot in the Kayano 33. In terms of plantar fasciitis, issues around the arch of your foot, those of you who have a flatter foot that's quite rigid, that found the arch support too intrusive, you might actually enjoy the 33 more than you did the 32. Those of you who need a stable neutral shoe, then the Nimbus 28 does an excellent job with that. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Have you tried them out? Any questions for me? More than happy to answer. There's links to both shoes in the description if you want to check out the latest price on Amazon. And if you're new here or you watch regularly and haven't subscribed, please do, as a single thing you can do for free that makes the biggest difference to the channel. Thank you very much for watching.